Welcome back to another episode of Sibling Showdown, the best ball edition. This week we are talking Superflex. That's right. The Underdog Fantasy has released the big board Superflex, and it's actually filling up. But they're going to have more Superflex leagues because the Superflex best ball drafts are very unique because they basically take away one receiver position and add a super flex position, which of course can be running back, receiver, tight end, or a quarterback. So really changes the nuances of it. I'm, of course, joined by my sibling, my brother, Steve. You can find him at Steve O Speak. Steve, tell me what you like about super flex drafts and, kind of the edges and what stands out to you.
Well, what I like most is I think it's more reflective of football. We know the quarterback position is the most important in football,
Yep.
um, and in Superflex that is absolutely key. So I think with that, it just feels more reflective of you need to treat it like you're building your NFL offense. You need to prioritize quarterback, and in this case, two of them. So, yeah, that's obviously the big takeaway. And by taking a receiver away, it also actually makes running backs more
Mm-hmm.
important because no longer do you need to start more receivers than running backs. With that normal flex position could be either. You can make the case that you're starting more running backs. So
Yeah.
running backs in half point PPR, like Underdog is, running backs outscore receivers. So why not lean into that? So
Yeah.
no,
That's a
I
great
like
point.
that. I think it fits better with what the NFL is, and I think it fits better with what their scoring system is.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. And yeah, just as a reminder, for the scoring on an underdog with the half point PPR, not the bonuses. And then you made a great point about it kind of devalues the receiver position a little bit and values the running back position a little bit and very much values the quarterback position. So those are all things to keep in mind. Also with the super flex draft, it's 20 rounds as opposed to 18 rounds. Correct. I mean,
Yeah.
for our regular underdog drafts, I think the early drafts are all 20 rounds. Once we get past the draft and probably in May on, it'll be 18 rounds. So the super flex draft is currently 20 rounds as they release. I know they're going to underdog will release another one, I'm sure, after the draft, after the NFL draft. And I believe that'll be 20 rounds as well. So anyways, that's another nuance and layer to it. But yeah, before we get into the strategies, and then we are going to draft a live draft on Underdog, which is fun. We'll just see how it falls to us and talk through our strategies. Before we do, please be sure to hit the like button. We really appreciate it. And of course, subscribe to the Fanspeak Network because we are bringing you weekly best ball content. We're really excited about having some strategy shows every week and live drafts every week. We're looking to learn and, as we go here through the best ball season, and we're super excited to do it and do these live drafts on air. We did a live draft on air last summer and did pretty well. So let's see if we can run that back. So like this episode, subscribe to the Fanspeak Network. And if you're checking out Underdog and haven't joined yet, be sure to use code Fanspeak for a 100% deposit bonus up to $100. So I'm going to kind of bring over the scoring from Underdog, and then we can talk through some of the strategies. So we're looking at the super flex, and the current tournament is $10. Nice top prize pool of top prize of $100,000. So is one, this is filling up, but again, they will have another super flex contest again. But again, as you can see, one quarterback, two running backs, two receivers, one tight end, one super flex, one flex, and 12 bench players. Again, that speaks to the 20 rounds. So again, a couple points that I wanted to make and then just get your feedback on just like the strategies for super flex that I personally feel like I learned from last year and I'm learning as I'm going through this year. Wanted to give my 4 or 5 strategies and then get your feedback on them. First thing I'll start by saying, for any best ball, there's a lot of like good best ball content out there and best ball bros and everything that are talking through all these rules and strategies, and everybody's going to have their own stands. Make your own stand. I think one thing that I love Josh Norris on the Underdog Network says, there's no wrong answer. And I agree. Like, you can make whatever stand you want. and of course, as you do multiple drafts for your portfolio, you can make different stands. But whether it's your rankings or your strategies or your draft style, you can make whatever stand you want. You just got to make a case for it. And there are certainly articles and content out there now to suggest how certain people like to draft in the 2023 Superflex. How I like to draft for this year's Superflex is quarterback has been pushed up. If you draft a regular contest, the quarterbacks are now going in, as early as the early second round, whereas last year it was third round, and then, really didn't start coming off the board till much later than that, as far as quarterbacks flying off the board. So quarterbacks have just been pushed up because of the lack of good quarterbacks. So in a super flex league, if you don't, draft a quarterback early, you are going to be left taking very risky stands on a quarterback. So I want to walk away, number one, leaving the first 3 rounds with 2 quarterbacks. Number 2, I want to grab that third quarterback to protect for bye weeks, injuries, lack of, in case my quarterback 1 or 2 have a down week. I want to draft that quarterback earlier than I typically do. So probably like by the 6th, 7th round. And then I probably want to walk away with 4 quarterbacks. That's the number 3 for me. And that's tough because you think of if everybody walked away with 4 quarterbacks, that's 48 quarterbacks. Well, that's a lot of backup quarterbacks. Just like if you want to walk away with 3 quarterbacks, that's 36. There's only 32 starting quarterbacks in the league. So that's why, again, where if you want an edge there to have a really good third quarterback, you're going to have to grab them pretty, by the 6th or 7th round. But you have 20 rounds to make some sharp decisions on running back and receiver. I like to use that number 4 for me, is I like to use that extra 2 rounds to get an extra running back than I typically do. If I typically draft 5, I'll draft 6. If I typically draft 6, I'll draft 7. And then number 6, I think you want to, I mentioned the 4 quarterbacks, but I don't mind taking it because if you're going to draft a 4th quarterback, I don't mind taking a handcuff quarterback situation. I don't know how you feel about this, but if you're going to take a backup, instead of playing whack-a-mole, maybe take a backup to one of the quarterbacks you already have. So that way you are essentially covering your ass for injury, basically, and you have that whole quarterback room. That's, kind of just another thought I had. So those are kind of like my main Superflex strategies going into a draft. And that's what we want to talk about quickly before we actually do jump into a live draft. First, what do you think about kind of my brain dump and my, kind of 5 key points? And do you have anything to add?
Yeah, no, this, like I said, this is a quarterback driven format. And just in best ball in general, maximizing your quarterback scoring is one of the best ways to ensure that you're going to make the playoffs. And then likely that means you probably have multiple guys who can put some numbers up during the playoffs. As we've seen these last couple of years, it's not always the Allens and Hurts was injured during the playoffs. Lamar was injured. You had those types of things. Mahomes had a good day, but it was guys like Daniel Jones, Tom Brady, Jared Goff. There were, a lot of other lesser quarterbacks who were able to get it done. So maximizing that, and that's even more important in Superflex because you are that Superflex position, i.e. your second quarterback, they're basically going to be outscoring basically every top receiver and running back from a weekly average. And even, they're going to, if you get some good ones, they're going to have more 20, 25, 30-point games than some of those top end receivers and running backs. So, no, I'm all about making sure you're getting 2 in the first 3 rounds and honestly, even the first 2 if it works out. And as for, getting a 4th quarterback, I think if it makes sense, kind of like you said, if you can get a handcuff that maybe makes sense. But I think it's definitely situational. If it's a situation where, it's like excuse me, like something like a Desmond Ridder or Sam Howell, these young guys who maybe don't have the firmest grasp on their starting role, and you're taking a Brissett or Taylor Heineke. I think those make sense. I think if it's a potential injury situation, that can make sense. Other than that, at that point, it honestly doesn't matter if it's backing up your guy or not. But no, if it makes sense, all for it. But if not, I still don't think there's anything wrong with using that last pick or second to last pick on some, maybe potential upside or if there is an injury, because like it or not, there were a number of situations where
Yeah.
key quarterbacks were missing time last year. Sometimes it was early in the year, like say Dak Prescott, but other times it was end of the year, like guys like Lamar, Kyler, Hurts. I mean, those were three of the top 7 quarterbacks taken in drafts last year. So
Yeah, hell, Minshew was playing in the best ball playoffs
yeah,
last year,
yeah.
because
So
Pertz was injured,
um, that's a reality.
Well, before we jump in, I just pulled up quarterback rankings because they are so important in Superflex. But, do you have any kind of like other kind of like final strategy, like just strategies that you are trying to stick to as you move through a Superflex draft, and anything that's like significant besides the significant differences we already talked about, you know, 2 quarterbacks the first 3 rounds, a third quarterback early and normal, and an extra running back. Like besides these kind of strategies that we talked about, is there anything else that you are trying to that stand out to you that's different from that is different for you than a regular draft?
Yeah. So a couple of things that are different. I think the only tight end that I would take, say, in the first 8 rounds, even would be Travis Kelce, and that's
Mm-hmm.
probably in the second or third round.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it does devalue the tight end
Sure.
position a little bit, just because you really need to lock down that super flex position, and because just for a comparison, Travis Kelce, if his tight ends weekly average tight end scoring would have been, I think, 4th or 5th among receivers last year, but any other tight end would have been like 25th.
Yeah.
Nobody
Oh,
else was
yeah.
even close. So
Right.
once Kelsey's gone, you can just kind of wait and wait, especially with the strong rookie class. Now that is the other thing with us
Yeah.
doing it now and
Yep.
not knowing where these rookies are going to land. I think it impacts all these positions. I think it impacts running backs the most. We saw
Mm-hmm.
that last year, in particular, where somebody like Antonio Gibson coming off 1,000-yard year.
Mm-hmm.
Next thing you know, he has big competition with Brian Robinson, a 3rd-round pick.
Sure.
We saw Rashard Penny, who literally won Liam the best ball BBM2
Yeah.
$1 million prize, and he gets some big time competition with Kenneth Walker. So
Yeah.
it's and we see it time again. A couple years ago, Patriots had Damian Harris. They take a 4th rounder and Ramondre Stevenson. Next thing you know, that's a split backfield.
Yep.
So valuing these running backs is really tough at this point, and especially when we're trying to guess, like, because what we want later in the summer is, of course, finding the right late round guys, and we're
Right.
going to miss on some of those, but we're going to hit them. Like if you're hitting on Jamal Williams or Mostert or McKinnon,
Yeah, you and I each had a couple that we
yeah,
were right on. You were big on Jamal Williams. I was big on Mostert and McKinnon, and yeah, you were big on
so
another
yeah, I
late. We
mean
had a couple late round each that we loved. Yeah.
you were making some money by doing that. But if you take the wrong guys,
We also took
yeah,
Chris Evans.
yeah, we took Chris Evans, Hassan Haskins, guys like that. And some of that's luck. I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. But the point being is it's so much harder to predict now. Running back situations, like right now, we don't know what the Cowboys' backfield is going to look like.
Yeah.
Like we know Tony Pollard's there. They signed Ronald Jones. They Malik Davis. They're likely going to draft somebody or bring in some other free agent to replace Zeke. We'll see, but we have no clue on how to really evaluate that. So the situations that we do know, I do like to prioritize. And sure, there might be some, maybe the Ravens draft a running back. Jaguars will probably draft a running back in the mid rounds, but I don't think that means ETN is going to be, not
Right.
involved. So I think those types of situations, Nick Chubb, Kenneth Walker, Brees Hall, even though he's coming off the injury, we feel pretty good about
Yeah.
his recovery and situation. So those are the ones I want to prioritize because I think you have a big edge. Yeah, you still need that guy, though, that guy to stay healthy, of course. But again, running backs score more than wide receivers on average, and
In
if
Underdog specifically.
in
Yeah.
underdog, yeah. But I mean, you had 4 or 5 running backs get 18 or more points average 18 or more points last season. Only one receiver did, Justin Jefferson. So,
Hmm.
even Tyreek Hill was outscored by 4 running backs last year. And so just from that kind of perspective, we should just keep that in mind. And
Yeah.
if we find that situation early, I think you do jump on it, because later it just gets real. Maybe you end up guessing right, but if you don't, you could really be hurting for RB points. And like I said, they're just valued more in this format.
Yeah, a couple of points to follow up on. I think you made a great point there, and we'll be doing again strategy shows all summer, and some of those we'll be talking about like the different types of draft strategies and where that you might want to lean into certain draft strategies like zero RB strategy. Not that it has to be every single time, but might be better for drafters and DraftKings, and maybe more robust or hero RB might be better on Underdog. Again, these are the type of things we're going to talk about all summer. To your point about like securing a running back position or player where it is more secure, I totally agree with that. Like getting anchoring, a team with one or two of those guys. But I also don't mind embracing volatility. You also, because we're drafting in April, and before the draft, before the schedule, we don't know the bye weeks yet. You also got to embrace volatility. You also have to just speculate, on some of the guys that are still free agents. And, yeah. And we also, again, to your point about the draft, we don't know where these rookies have landed yet. All that you're kind of just speculating, but if you speculate right, you can have an edge, and you can maybe use some volatility. Try to use just the volatility to your advantage a little bit there too. So, well, let's go over, because it might take a while. We can continue to talk about any strategy as I go over, but let's go over and set up a draft, because sometimes we have to wait a little bit until we get in one here. We're going to obviously do the 30 seconds. Oh, no, looks like they're already waiting for one person. And it looks like it is filled already. Okay, I got the second pick.
Oh, there we
I
go.
did not get that before. I think last night I got the 11th. So this is like a polar opposite. So this is exciting.
When this, I think, just as we wait here, just want to say, I
Yeah,
think
47 said.
these early picks are really, really key, because even among top quarterbacks last year, we saw, it was a 3-man race: Josh Allen, Mahomes, and Jalen Hurts, who led in total average. And you had others like Justin Fields had a nice little run there, and obviously Lamar, before he got hurt, was really in a good pace. But it I do think we've seen these quarterbacks separate. The year before, obviously Justin Herbert was QB2, Tom Brady was QB3, so things changed there. But I could see Herbert bouncing back into that top tier. I think the thing you do have to just worry about some of these other guys like a Burrow.
Okay, just to let you know, it is starting, so we will be ready.
All
And
right.
Allen is taken. So, I was certainly wrong on Hertz last year. I'm going to be writing some articles following up on my hits and misses. Could go Hertz or Mahomes, I think is where it's got to be. Obviously, Mahomes is ranked higher. I'm fine with either, but I'm kind of leaning Mahomes. What's your take? 10
Yeah, I
seconds.
think Mahomes.
Okay. All right. So we've got Mahomes, and then we've got a while till we come back to talk
Yeah.
it through. So just, finish your thoughts on the quarterbacks, and then we
So
can talk about our strategy on the way back.
so while I think hitting the 2 quarterbacks early is important, getting one of these big guys is the one case where on the way back,
Mm-hmm.
if there's a top receiver or running back there, maybe even Kelsey with the stack, that'd be the one one tight end situation that
Sure.
I'd consider. Then we know we're just 2 picks away. Hopefully, the guy who took Allen is not taking 2 quarterbacks. So especially if there's 2 quarterbacks left, then we definitely could lock in the top position player. But some of that will depend on what ends up available at that spot.
Yeah, I was just trying to look. So because we got some time, as you can see, it went Allen, Mahomes, Burrow. 4 went Justin Jefferson, Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson. So actually, Burrow went before Jalen Hurts.
Wow. Yeah.
Jalen Hurts, who just signed a ginormous contract, Lamar Jackson, Justin Fields, Justin Herbert, and then it's at pick 9. So, yeah, I think by the time it gets back to us, Steve, there will be a few more skill position players taken, but I still think there could be someone solid that we could take and then hit one back at pick number 26, still grab a quarterback, because then it'll be a long way back until the 4th round, and the quarterbacks will thin out real quick. So I want to get a second quarterback here, but I don't think you have to force it here, like you said.
I mean, I think there's a tier break coming up.
Yeah.
And that's, if.
Yes. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. If that is kind of after you get past Kirk Cousins, then I do think there is a gap. So it's like, I feel like you're reaching for Aaron Rodgers or Goff.
Yeah.
So, that would be my thing. If Cousins is the only quarterback there, then I would take Cousins and then just take the best skill position guy left. But if there's 2 of these quarterbacks, let's say, Daniel Jones.
I'll go back to the rankings in a minute. I just wanted to see how the board played out a little bit. Just to mention, a couple more skill positions went off the board. Jamar Chase at 10, Christian McCaffrey 11. Then it went Watson, Prescott, Bijan Robinson, rookie at 14, Tyreek Hill at 15, and then 16's on the clock. Let me go back to our board so we can look. Kelsey is still there. I like that if he is still available. If he's not, the top running back is Jonathan Taylor or Eckler. Kind of like Eckler, even though obviously the situation's a bit murky.
Yeah, I mean, unless we know for sure he's back with the Chargers, that could not be great.
Yeah, that's what makes it. But again, do you speculate and just, that's a situation. If I have to see what is his ADP right now in this 23. So yeah, a little later, right around where my pick is.
Like Saquon, I would take Saquon right now over Eckler just because we know his situation. We know how he'll be used.
Eckler just went. Eckler went at 17 and Kelsey went, unfortunately. So it went Till, Kelsey, Eckler. So a little run on skill positions here. If we go back to the quarterbacks, it's Daniel Jones, Kirk Cousins, and then to your point.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't think I can wait till the end of the 4th round, or I might not even. It might even get past, because once it gets past Derek Carr, I don't like this area at all.
No,
at all. Yeah. And so, am I reaching for like a Jared Goff or something with my, 3rd round pick? Yeah, maybe a little bit, but like, I don't want to be left with Jordan Love or Matt Stafford or one of the rookies.
Here's the thing. We'll see if this guy. Okay,
I'm on the clock.
Kirk Cousins is available. I would take Kirk Cousins because I think there's a big tier gap between him and Rodgers and Goff.
Okay. I agree with you. I mean, even though he pisses his pants at night and stinks and still bitter about the Best Ball Mania 3 finals. I have to make the right decision. So I have my 2 quarterbacks in the first 3 rounds. So now it's time to focus. We got Saquon, and then real quick, just want to speak to it. Devontae, Garrett Wilson, Amon-Ra. And of course, like we said, since Kelsey's gone, no interest. So to our point, you go with Saquon? Okay. Yeah. Does the not signing franchise make you nervous at all?
No, he's 100% there next year. I don't care what happens in 2024.
Okay, well, that's true. We don't. Okay, so we got a ways again. So we went quarterback, running back. We went Mahomes, Cousins, Barkley. And, again, I'll probably take my 3rd quarterback by like the 6th round, but you wait and see. I guarantee by the time we get back to me, Aaron Rodgers, Jared Goff, Geno Smith, and Russell Wilson and Carr are going to be gone, because there will be a run on quarterbacks for these people that went skill positions. Yeah. And I refuse to be, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there'll be a Wilson or Carr left. There went Rodgers. But I am not going to be left with Kyler Murray coming back from injury, Jordan Love, Matthew Stafford coming back from injury, Bryce Young, the rookie, and then you get into the rookies. And so I wanted my second quarterback to be in that, to your point, in that top tier. I do want to, maybe on our next go around, look for potential, stacks with my quarterbacks. Obviously, with Mahomes, it's now going to be guys, late.
So this is
Go
one
ahead.
thing I actually do think. Um, well, stacking has value. Obviously, I think it has less value in Superflex because you are one. Just the value of the quarterback position is so much more important than anything else now.
Mm-hmm.
That it
Well,
takes
sometimes
away
it's
that.
just too hard to get because people are like, I know, yeah, the draft I did yesterday, I took Tua, but like, of course, Waddle and Tyreek
Yeah,
were gone, and you just can't do it. Whereas if you take Tua in a regular draft, you're in a situation to get,
exactly,
where
exactly.
you have already gotten Hill, and you're like, okay, well, I'm going to grab Tua. So it's flipped. You're grabbing the, so.
Yeah,
So I get what you're saying. I still think when you can make it work, especially even if it's with a tight end or running back and getting just some correlation, I don't mind it. We are okay. We're still 14 picks away. I just want to look at the board.
but
Um,
what
Go
I
ahead.
was just going to say is like obviously, for instance, like Hawkinson is one of the top tight ends, but I
Mm,
just don't think this
you don't want to
format.
force it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this format doesn't equate well for tight ends.
Yeah. Yeah. I get it. You don't want to force it. So who's going to be with Thielen leaving the like wide receiver two for the
Well,
Vikings?
I mean, I think there's a very real chance it's KJ Osborne. Last year in the sixth round, they drafted Jalen Naylor. He didn't do much, but he didn't have many opportunities, obviously, last year with Thielen. And they still have Jalen Rager, who they traded a late
Mm,
round pick with from Philly. But I mean, when he was in the game, he caused interceptions. So I don't know how much, he's gonna
yeah. Just to
earn
my
playing time.
point, really quick, looking at the board, as I said, because I wanted to get before my third round the second quarterback, because there goes Aaron Rodgers, Geno Smith, Jared Goff, Russell Wilson. If Carr, I guarantee is going to go by the time this yellow pick comes back up, and that's what I wasn't comfortable with. Again, you make your own stance. Like, I'm not saying you can watch 100 different shows and get 100 different opinions, and every year nuances of best ball are going to be different. Make your own stance that you're comfortable with. That is something that I am not comfortable with. I am not comfortable having my second quarterback be one of those rookies. I'm just not. So,
Yeah, no, I mean with the exception of Justin Herbert, we've not really seen a rookie put up
yeah, you and
consistent
I talked about
fantasy
that
production.
earlier. Yeah,
You'll have a few weeks here of Justin Fields or a few weeks there of Burrow before he got hurt.
right.
I mean, Jalen Hurts came in for 3 games as a rookie, had a good fantasy
Mm-hmm.
game in there, but it's like who was drafting
Flukier.
that? Like, I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
there
You
was
weren't
like
drafting that
zero
year.
0% chance of starting from the beginning. So, and again, this is not if you're in a regular fantasy draft, you could take a shot at an Anthony Richardson as your third quarterback or Will Levis as your third quarterback, and maybe they come in and have a late season run and can be a playoff hero for you or something crazy. But you need these guys all year. You need to count on these guys all year. So
All right.
it's a different ballgame.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. 3 picks away. Just want to take a look at the board. Too early for tight end, as you said, even though the Hawkinson
Yeah,
would stack. His projected ADP is around my fifth round pick. Receiver, Olave, Higgins, Samuel, Ridley, Cooper coming up. Running backs, Etienne, Stevenson, Naj, Aaron Jones. Um, I don't know. I
I mean,
kind of love a lot
I
both
would like
Olave, Higgins. What do you think?
I like Olave.
Yeah.
I think Higgins is fine also. Coming back, I wouldn't mind taking a second running back because I think
Yeah.
you got 3 good situations there: Etienne, Stevenson, and then Naj.
Yeah.
People knock.
I think that Pittsburgh offense could
Well,
be a
and
lot
people,
better this year.
yeah. Well,
Okay, I'm on the
you're right.
clock. So Etienne went. I'm going to
Olave,
take
yeah.
Olave, and then
And
I'm up in 2 picks.
and
And
everyone knocked Naj last year for the start to the season. Of course, they were dealing with so many
really
things.
quick, while I'm on the clock, do you worry at all about the role of Jalen Warren?
No, no.
Okay. All
I
right. I'm going to,
I actually would prefer Naj over Stevenson just because I think the Patriots could draft a guy
yeah, I do
um,
too.
where Steelers aren't going
Okay,
to.
let's just take a break here to take a quick recap. 5 picks in, uh, 2 quarterbacks, and that's another thing just to point out. I'd like to finish the draft with at 20 picks. I want to finish around 4 quarterbacks, about 6 running backs because I usually draft 5. I said I usually draft one more. 7 receivers, 3 tight ends. Because again, if I'm not going a hero tight end, then I want like 3 value guys to kind of just rotate who's going to be my guy, so that's kind of how I see that. So again, 5 picks in, we're fourth of the way through. I have Mahomes, Cousins, Barkley, Najee Harris, and Chris Olave. I like my start. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I think Barkley and Najee are a really good 1-2 combo. And I again wouldn't mind
Let's take a
having
look at the
another
board.
solid running back in the mid rounds, but I think you're at a good place.
Oh, I see. Yeah, Steve, look, I was right. Yeah, I went Russell Wilson, Derek Carr way before
Yeah,
I
Kyler
came
went also.
I came back up, and then Kyler went too, which I would
Hmm.
have no interest in. That team is a disaster right now, and so I am so happy with my getting 2 quarterbacks early. Again, I don't mean to hammer that home, but you just have to look at what the
But
board becomes, and that's what it's good. It's good to look at a board
and
after your draft. Go ahead. Sorry.
and one other thing that I would point out is, can you actually scroll up?
Yeah.
So like the other guys who took the elite quarterbacks, because obviously the guys
Further
at
up
the
here. Yeah.
yeah, obviously the guys at the end, the guy at the very end took
Wait, I just want to see how many picks. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Go
took
ahead.
Watson Prescott. Um, you know, you you know, it went you have Mahomes Cousins. It was Allen, and who did he get? Matt Stafford, Joe Burrow, and Jordan Love, Jalen Hurts, and Aaron Rodgers. That's probably the closest in comparison to you. So we're now comparing like quarterback tier versus quarterback tier,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a big advantage.
I
Now,
mean, Justin
obviously,
Fields and Tua is nice too.
yeah, and like Lamar and Daniel Jones, they both stay healthy. A lot of rushing equity there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I think Fields and Tua can be fine. I think Herbert and maybe Gino has another year in him. We'll see.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that the
But
point is
that was
that's
smart of them
that's
to get a second. I mean, I actually like that start for that person. That's what's fun to look at a draft as it's going, especially when you like us
yeah
have time to wait. I like that start for that person, Herbert, Eckler, if they do stay together, in LA, and Gino. That's a
yeah.
nice three-man start. Okay, I'm gonna go back. See, we were 5 picks away. Tight end. Obviously, like the big names did go off the board, like Kittle, like Hawkinson. Still not in a range I'm comfortable reaching, though I do love like an Evan Ingram.
So
Go ahead.
um,
4 picks away.
so I do think you could look at the third quarterback here. There's Jimmy Garoppolo. Could you just look at quarterbacks?
Yeah. Oh
Um,
yeah.
yeah,
This thinned out quick. What round am I in? Am I in the
this is
sixth?
sixth round.
Yeah, 6. We said what you said by the 6th
So
round,
I
it's going
think
to
I
thin
do
out
think
quick.
Brock
I'm
Purdy's
interested in Brock
fine.
Purdy. Yeah.
Yeah. I think Jimmy Garoppolo, I mean, obviously he's got weapons. He's got that
Yeah.
starting job on lock. Just look at running backs real quick and receivers. Running backs,
I mean, I
Miles
love.
Davis,
I've been
Montgomery,
drafting
Dobbins
Dobbins. I love
are all
Dobbins
really
and
good.
Pacheco. But
But you got, okay,
okay, I'm
you're
on
up.
the clock. So it just went
So,
Garoppolo, Lance. So major run on quarterbacks. I mean, you know me, I'm a homer. I'm drafting Sam Howell at an alarming rate. I kind of like Purdy being
yeah,
in
I'd
one of the
take
best
Purdy.
offenses. I'm going to grab Purdy here, have my third quarterback on lock. He's going to be the guy if he's healthy. I'm going to take that. I guarantee you, he would have been drafted had I not taken him. I'm up in 2 picks, so I want to focus here on what I want to do next.
So, I mean, Drake London, Christian Kirk, Dobbins.
Okay,
London just went.
London Ritter just went. I'm on the clock. So we've got Keenan Allen, Christian Kirk, Terry McLaurin.
Jameson Williams.
Yeah, I'm.
I I I lean Kirk or McLaurin, but whatever you think.
You know what I'm going to do. Gotta do it. No, I mean, in the offense with Eric Bieniemy, I am a Sam Howell, bullish on Sam Howell. I just like getting equity to the Washington receivers, hoping that Eric Bieniemy lets them open up and pass a little more, and hopefully
Yeah,
McLaurin finally has a competent quarterback. Go
the
ahead.
downside about taking McLaurin is Dotson, who's a really good later round value, is
Yeah,
now no longer really.
yeah, yeah. Well, it would have been if I would have drafted Sam Howell. That could stack the hell out of it. All right, let's take a quick look. 7 picks in. 3 quarterbacks, so I'm done till the end. There are 2 running backs, 2 receivers: Mahomes, Cousins, Purdy, Barkley, Najee Harris, Chris Olave, Terry McLaurin. I'm very happy with that start. I'm trying to think here. I
So
mean,
what?
yeah, all just to, I want to make a quick point. All correlation at tight end is gone for my so it's not kind of some later round receivers if you wanted them. Like I'm trying to just I just would like to take this time to just cue them, just to have like a Kadarius Toney is coming up. Uh, but I thought Brandon Ayuk moved somewhere else. He's still with San Francisco.
Yeah, there's talk of a trade, but nothing's happened yet. It could. I mean, draft night
Okay.
we saw last year multiple receivers move.
Yeah,
So.
that's true. You were right about Jahan Dotson. Who was the one I was deciding? Yeah, I probably should have gone Christian Kirk and then gotten Jahan Dotson's a great. Um, I just want to queue up some guys that do correlate because the draft happens fast, and then you can kind of compare it to the running backs and that kind of stuff. KJ Osborne. Um, any other? I mean, what's your thoughts on Sky Moore second year?
I mean, they're going to talk a good game, but again, they could draft somebody. I mean, I think Tony's role is pretty set, but
I like Tony. Yeah,
yeah,
I mean, health
um,
scares me a little bit, but I'm going to cue Lazard just because I think he's a great late round pick that is going way lower
yeah.
by
The
the
only the
time.
only
If
issue I
Go ahead.
have there is it's a very very complicated room. I think he's going to see the field a lot, but if he's blocking, it's not really helping you a lot.
Yeah, but don't you think if the whole Rogers deal that goes through, that he's going to become?
I think he'll be like the third receiver, and but you have a situation where their tight ends are far better than Green Bay's tight ends, so it's not.
Yeah.
Um,
Wait. So quickly, give me the wide receiver depth chart for Kansas City. I'm just trying to think this through because again, I'm trying to learn as I
yeah,
go
I
through each
mean,
draft here.
so for Kansas City, I think it's clearly Tony. I think
Okay.
MVS is there. I think I think you then look at Moore and Watson and all that type of stuff. But I think there's a high expectation they're going to draft somebody again in the mid round, second and third. Probably not the first. We'll see. I mean,
Okay. And
again,
then San Francisco.
yeah. I mean, beyond Ayuk, I
Obviously,
mean they
Debo's
don't.
gone.
Yeah, they don't use more than two receivers, so it
Yeah.
really doesn't
So
matter.
that's nobody's really relevant. Okay. And
Yeah,
then obviously, like you said, past obviously Justin Jefferson the first round, KJ Osborne, and then the other ones are really, really long shot wild cards. So okay, I just wanted to have some queued because again, I did the slate last night. Draft moves fast. Wow, my favorite. I love getting if I'm 7 picks away, he's probably gonna be gone. Love J.K. Dobbins. I
there
think
is
he's
Pacheco there.
oh, I love also just getting exposure to nailing an offense. So I'm gonna cue that up too. Did he just go?
No, uh, somebody
Oh,
took Dobbins, but
oh,
not
that's why.
Pacheco.
Okay, that's why I went. Okay, I queued Pacheco. I love that. Love getting just an entire kind of touchdown equity of one of the most powerful, high-powered offenses in the league. Not a bad idea, right?
Nope.
Um, so the order they are, based on ADP, is Ayuk, Pacheco, Tony. I don't really care if Pacheco's there. I'm taking him. What do you think about that call?
Yeah, I think he's your first pick.
If he's gone, I guess it would depend.
Okay,
Okay.
Pacheco's there.
Okay, I do love George Pickens. I will say that was a great pick, but I already had Najee and I don't have Pickett. So I am grabbing Isaiah Pacheco. Very, very happy locking up all the touchdown equity there between Mahomes
So
and Isaiah Pacheco.
you're up again. So I would look at receivers and running backs. I'm not a big fan of Brandon Ayuk right here. I think he's very much a floor play. I think this is an overdrafting for him.
I mean, it's going way later than his ADP.
Yeah, I think Tony's fine here. Honestly.
I like Tony and just stacking my best
much
quarterback.
Rather go Tony.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm stacking my best quarterback, which I love. So let's again. Now we have some time. 19 picks away. We are now over halfway through not quite halfway through the draft with 9 picks. Mahomes, Cousins, Purdy, Barkley, Harris, just got Isaiah Pacheco, Chris Olave, Terry McLaurin, Kadarius Toney. So I've got my correlation with Mahomes. I see your point about Ayuk. Can get obviously Osborne if we want some correlation much later. So we will see. Let's look at the board. Kind of see who's gone in the last couple of rounds. As you can see again, by the when did I take my quarterback? My third quarterback. That was what round?
Sixth round.
I took, sixth round. By the sixth round, quarterback really started to dry up. Seventh round for sure. Desmond Ridder, Sam Howell. Eighth round, Mac Jones. Ninth round, Tannehill, Baker Mayfield. I mean, now you're basically out of the starters.
So coming back this is where I'd start to look at tight ends.
Okay. And then just want to make a point on the board, then obviously now skill positions are getting, more and more scooped up. Like you said, just kind of a mix of running back, receiver, tight ends. There doesn't seem to be a particular run on any one position, maybe receiver a little bit, but I think that's a good point because I have pick 119, 122 coming up. And I think that is a good point to start looking since I'm going to be trying to nail 3 of them. And none of them can correlate with my quarterbacks. Just to name off with 10 picks left, who's up there. We have David Njoku, Pat Freiermuth, Dawson Knox, Dalton Schultz, Cole Kmet, leveled Chig from Tennessee, Greg Dulcich. I like a lot of these guys. Who are some of your favorites just in this range? Then I'll go.
Yeah, so I would probably lean. My 2 favorites are the top 2 ones, Pat Freiermuth and David Njoku. In addition, Freiermuth is due massive positive touchdown regression after last season. And it's also a situation like this is a weird year. It's actually a really strong tight end class. So, some of these guys.
We could talk about that later. Yeah.
There have been some rumors that Buffalo could look tight end. Houston, they signed Dalton Schultz, but it was a 1-year deal. They find a tight end in the second. I mean, they have so many picks, they could go that way. I don't see the Bears taking a tight end, but they just have so many weapons that I don't think Cole Kmet's going to be getting 2 touchdowns every game for a team that barely throws the ball. And Tennessee, same sort of thing. Like, they just need weapons, and that could end up being a tight end. And they could say, hey, we want to run the ball anyway. So I need 2.
Did they keep Hooper or did Hooper?
No, he's gone.
Yeah. Okay. Freiermuth just went. Damn.
Yeah,
I was hoping to get, I was hoping to get, I was hoping for Freiermuth.
I do like Knox and Schultz. Dulcich is actually one of my favorites. I know it's a new regime in Sean Payton, but I think Dulcich in his limited time looked really good when the offense was just absolutely terrible. So I think he's a fine guy to begin and anchor your tight ends. But again, I'm fine with Schultz also. I think Schultz is good at football. We've seen that. He was very productive when healthy these past 3 years.
Yeah, he almost helped win me the BBM3. Started Thursday night of the BBM3 finals with 2 touchdowns and $1 million in my account, and then that all went away when Justin Jefferson got 1 catch. Okay, would you go Schultz here? I mean, it's a little early, don't you think?
Click on running back and receiver real quick.
Okay, let's take a quick look. I mean, I don't love this receiver range.
Running back,
16 seconds.
Could take a 4th one. James Conner, I think, stands out as a guy who there's no competition there right now. I mean, okay, times are back.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with my gut. Dalton Schultz is just kind of like a solid. I know I went a little early, but I just feel a little more solid, and I needed some time.
Well, if James Conner's still there in 2 picks,
don't you think that offense is just dysfunctional? I mean,
sure, but that doesn't prevent a guy from being productive. I mean, there's plenty of dysfunctional offenses that had good players last year.
I just feel like I'd rather get Osborne correlated or Lazard.
But that's way too late. I mean, James Conner is going to outproduce them easily.
He just went.
Okay. Who are the receivers? Jordan Addison's my favorite rookie.
You like him better than Osborne or Lazard?
I mean, he could end up starting above Osborne if they draft him.
That was a rush on that one. I definitely, when you have 2 close together, you have to be kind of thinking farther ahead. And I just wasn't comfortable with the James Conner thing, and when I didn't take him, then he went in between, and I don't care, to be quite honest. I see your points, Bud, but I just like
Well,
that offense.
the reasoning is there's no competition and there's so many needs that they're probably not going to invest highly in the draft. So
Yeah.
it's like he's going to once again have that offense. He averaged almost 14 points a game last year. No reason to say that he couldn't do it again.
Yeah. No, I may regret that decision, but I just didn't love it. Okay. So I did get my first rookie. Quickly talk about, we are 15 picks away, but I do then want to talk about strategy. So quickly talk about why you like Jordan Addison and where would be a good fit.
He didn't run well at the combine, and I think that freaked people out. But anyone who has watched him these last 2 years, he got Kenny Pickett in the first round and on the Heisman podium, and then he got Caleb Williams the Heisman this past year at USC. Not to take anything away from those two quarterbacks, but he's just superbly talented. He was actually better at Pitt than USC. USC just, I don't think they used him as well, but he is just. I think he comes in. Not as physically gifted as Justin Jefferson, but he's going to come in like Justin Jefferson. Jefferson was totally overshadowed by Jamar Chase. He was the 5th receiver taken in his draft, 21st overall, or whatever it was, 22nd overall, whatever it ended up being. And, the dude could just play. And that's Jordan Addison. He's going to get open. Yeah, he'll play a lot in the slot, but he can play some outside enough that he will be out there in 2 wide receiver sets. And offensive coordinators are going to love him. QB coaches are going to love him for their guys.
What round do you think he's going to go in?
I think he goes in the first. I think
the first.
Yeah, I think people knock his lack of 40 time, but honestly, who cares? Like if you can play, you can play. And
then where do you think's a good fit for him?
Well, I mean, I think basically the whole back half of the first round could be looking receiver. Now, because he's not
that would be a hell of a pickup for the Vikings if for me.
Yeah. No, I mean it very well could, and since the Chiefs also.
Brian Robinson, just want to make a point. I like him. Yeah. I love J.K. Dobbins is one of my favorite like mid-round picks in this 12th round range. I think Brian Robinson is excellent value. It's not just because I'm a Washington fan. It's because I really think that's a good value for him here in Superflex. And I think as we go along, he's going to go move up boards. Cole Kmet just went. Let's look at the board because I'm up in 2 picks. Greg Dulcich is there. Lazard is still there.
I like Zay Flowers. Lazard's fine, I think.
Especially here. I don't mind, honestly, Elijah Mitchell getting a piece of that. But would you go Dulcich or Lazard here?
I think I'd take Lazard.
Again, we only have 2. Let's talk about the Lazard pick after this. I want to strategize really quick here. So, the tight end pool might dry up really, really quick, and he just Dulcich went. But is it too early for Mayer? You love him. He's ADP 179. Quick decision.
I would go for another player. I'd go for a wide receiver or running back.
These are.
I like Thielen. I like Adam Thielen.
I just would like to point out. I really like because I want to get a 4th. I really like Elijah Mitchell.
Okay, I mean that's where you want to go.
Yes, I know it's a hand, but the way they run, and I know again, I'm also getting all the equity in or not all because I know Christian McCaffrey is the starter, but equity in the San Francisco offense who runs the ball a lot too and uses multiple running backs. We saw throughout the end of the season and playoffs. And then obviously if there is an injury to McCaffrey, Elijah Mitchell is just an absolute monster spot. So I think getting him there, as your 4th running back is really, really nice. So I do have 3 quarterbacks, 4 running backs, 5 receivers, 1 tight end. So that is 13 picks. So 7 picks to go. Probably gonna maybe again last round, maybe get a quarterback, 2 more running backs. I definitely want to get, let's say, at least 2 more receivers and 2 more tight ends. So, were we talking about Lazard when I said I wanted to focus? I mean, if Rodgers the deal goes through, I just feel like Lazard that late is a great value.
Yeah, no, this late, like if it was, two round, the
Because that
last
was
go
pick what,
around.
150. Yeah, I mean it was pick 143. I
Yeah.
know it's above his ADP, but I still liked it.
No, I think it's good this area. I just wouldn't have taken him in the, two rounds,
I'm
the
gonna
grouping
cue
of two
Thielen. I know you
picks
mentioned
prior.
him. Just so we can cue guys, are there any I'll just cue some guys that I like. Are there any running backs here that you like?
Well, I do think both uh, uh, Abakanda and a chain are quality rookies that if they get the right situation, that they could.
What rounds do you think they'll go in? Just out of
I think a
curiosity.
chain probably more late second, early third. Who just went, so never
Mm-hmm.
mind. There's some buzz. He's a tough guy to read because he was
Yeah.
highly productive at Pitt this year, but it just
What
wasn't
about a chain?
I mean, extremely productive at he just
He
went
just went.
Texas A&M. So I
Okay.
thought he would go higher.
That's why I'm
But
glad I got a running back in the last round. Running, I've noticed, and this is again, you learn as you go. You learn as you draft. I noticed that as we talked about quarterbacks sitting at a certain point, the running back position thins out really fast.
yeah,
Just in this range. So I'm kind of glad I got another one. Thielen is still there. Here are some other ones. Is there any other ones you want
I
to
mean,
queue
I
up?
think Hyatt, Dobbs, Pierce are all fine.
I'll just cue them all and then we could talk it through. I also like Shahid. Oh, we took never mind, we took
Yeah,
Alave. Okay. And then Mayer is still there. He's the rookie, should go first or second round, correct, Steve?
first round. Yeah,
Okay. So you definitely think he's gonna be a first round guy.
yeah. He
And
might not be the first tight end taken, but he should be a first rounder.
yeah, I mean, this is one of the better tight end classes in a long time. Multiple guys could go in the first round, and while tight ends aren't always super productive their first year, you feel like you're pretty bullish on Mayer being able to make some noise
Yeah, I
his
mean,
first year,
well, we've
right?
seen we've seen some of that change. Obviously, Kyle Pitts had a monster year. Fryermuth had a really good year. We saw, given the limited work, we saw Dulcich. I mean, he only played like 6 games and in one of the worst offenses in the league and was productive. Likely when he got opportunities, Chig when he got opportunities, they were good. I mean, these tight ends can come in and play. Jelani Woods when he was
Mm-hmm.
getting opportunities, but I mean, he was sharing the ball with 2 other tight ends. So a lot of it's going to be situation. But
Mm-hmm.
Mayer is probably going to be number one wherever he goes.
Okay. Yeah, and again, it'll be interesting after the draft to see the position. Irv
Right.
Smith just went ahead of him. I'm going to grab him. I really just think this guy is going to make some noise in his first year. So my tight ends are now Dalton Schultz and Michael Mayer. Queued up with 2 picks to go is Dubs Pierce. Dubs just went. I'm on the clock. Do you like Pierce here, or do you like any of these running backs or these receivers? I mean, you
Um,
could do MVS too, but I don't feel the
no,
need, to be quite
no.
honest.
I,
I'd prefer
I, I
Pierce,
personally
actually.
like Pierce.
I do too.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Alec Pierce. I think in a second year, I know the quarterback situation is TBD, but, I do think he's the number 2.
Yeah.
Okay, we got 3 with, having a little break here. 3, 4, 6, 2. So I want to get about 1, 2, 1, 1 in any particular order, just depending on how it falls. We'll see. But I feel good of who I have so far. Again, we have some time to read through it. Mahomes, Cousins, Purdy, Saquon Barkley, Najee Harris, Isaiah Pacheco, Elijah Mitchell. Again, I've locked up the kind of the touchdown equity in Kansas City and San Francisco, like that. Chris Olave, Terry McLaurin, Kadarius Toney, obviously paired with Mahomes, Addison, Jordan Addison, the rookie, Alan Lazard, and Alec Pierce, and then tight ends Dalton Schultz and rookie Michael Mayer. So 14 picks to go. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
I would start queuing some running backs
Yeah,
and
sure.
receivers here.
Yep. Okay, so let's go through. Who do you like here?
Yeah, it's
Don't love it. See,
yeah,
it gets ugly quick. That's
no,
why
this
I just want to make a point. I've taken 4, and I like the 4 I have. That's why I wanted to grab the Elijah Mitchell pick, because it gets to a point where I get really uncomfortable, and I'm usually I'm usually in especially other formats, and I do it on Underdog too. I like doing some zero RB sometime and finding those late round gems and stuff, but it gets pretty thin pretty quick where you got to take some, really make some speculations on where these free agents could go, where these rookies could land, could they, that kind of stuff. So who do you like with, we still have 13 picks, but who do you like?
Pretty much the only two from those groups I really like are Patterson and Miller.
But I hate Patterson. I've never drafted him. I how you have those players where you're like, I just can't do it.
I mean, I think he's paid enough that he's going to be on the team.
Sure, and he can be explosive.
But I do worry that they draft a big time back.
Really? I mean, they used like three different. That was the other infuriating thing about Atlanta last year is they used like three different running backs.
Well, no, I mean it's mainly Algier and Patterson. But yeah, I mean,
I feel like there was a third. Who's the third I'm thinking of?
I mean, they would bring in others, but it was not. Some of that was when Patterson was hurt.
Yeah.
The issue.
Okay, let's look at.
The issue is more that they're only going to win on the ground, and that's going to be, obviously their offensive structure is based on what they did in Tennessee, and that's running the football. So, as good as Tyler Algier was, I think it's,
Well, doesn't matter. I'm not touching them. So, anyways, Kendre Miller is gone. Are there any other running backs? I am 6 picks away. Are there any other running backs you like? I queued Josh Downs and John Mechie, which is much farther down, but I just queued guys I like.
I would put Samuel ahead of Mechie for sure. Even though we have McLaurin, but I'd still rather have Samuel.
Okay. And then, listen, I know it's super risky, but I'm not saying for my next pick. I just want to have him in the queue. I think Leonard Fournette could land. He's good land somewhere. So I mean, this could be another.
I mean, we can say that about all these guys. Like, where's Kareem Hunt going to land? Where's Ezekiel Elliott going to land? Where's McKinney going to land?
Zeke's gone.
But I'm saying all these older guys.
Yeah, and these are older guys. Rookies.
One might get a good spot, but most of them are going to be terrible.
Well, Josh Downs just went 2 picks. Was there anybody else that you wanted to queue?
I do think you could look at just finishing out tight end this round, since this is just such a terrible area.
Okay.
Dalton Kincaid, take another rookie.
Okay, I'm on the clock. I don't know that I love that.
Okay. I mean, he's probably going to be a first rounder, and is.
What about Hayden Hurst?
I mean, he might not end up being the starter there. So.
I'm going to go with my gut. We may not agree, and that's the thing. You may not always agree with, Steve and I will probably do many. That's why it's sibling showdown. We do many of these drafts where we totally don't agree, and that's why we all have to make different stands. You're on the clock. I didn't love any of it, really. I didn't love the tight ends. I don't love
you're up again.
The receivers, and I don't love the running back. So would you do Curtis Samuel? I don't know about doubling Washington here.
I would take Kincaid easily.
Okay, 2 rookie tight ends.
Yeah, I mean, better.
You like him better than
he's better than any other tight end.
You like him better than Likely and Fant.
Yeah, Likely might not even play.
Okay. Kincaid. Well, now we have time. Tell us about Dalton Kincaid.
Kincaid is the best pass catching tight end in this class.
Okay.
He's a better pass catcher than Likely, than Dulcich, than anyone from last year.
You think he'll go round 1 as well, potentially?
Oh, I think so. I mean, he's the guy. There's like 4 guys who could go round 1, but he's the guy who is the right fit. A team could prioritize him over Michael Mayer because all they're looking for is a pass catcher. So I'd go look at receivers. I mean,
let me just hold on 1 second. I'm going to just do a little inventory here with 16 picks away. So 8, 14, 17. So 3 picks left. Ideally I get another running back, but it is thinned out a lot. That's why I just wanted to get a free agent that I think could land somewhere. Again, Steve and I aren't going to agree on everything. That's all right. Definitely another receiver. Again, not thinning out quick. And I am happy with having 3 tight ends. I guess I'm relying on 2 rookies and a 1-year free agent, but Dalton Schultz has been good to me in the past. So I've locked up tight end, quarterback. You're basically backup hunting at this point. That'll be last round. So what with 13 12 picks, 12 13 picks away, what do you like?
I'd start looking at wide receiver and running back.
Yeah, that's what I'll go each one. Anybody you like here?
Currently Gus Edwards is the number 2 back in Baltimore.
I didn't take J.K. Dobbins in this one, right?
No.
I take him a lot, so I want to make sure. Any other ones?
Chase Brown's a rookie who I think could be a late round fun guy.
You think he'll go late in the draft?
Mid rounds. Yeah, there's like 20 running backs. Who knows how they end up shaking
What
out.
about any of these like handcuff situations, like Zamir White, Josh Kelly?
They very well probably won't beat the handcuff.
Oh, you think someone could beat them out for that?
Yeah, look at Josh Kelly. They drafted Isaiah Spiller in the 4th round last year. All
right, let's take a look at receivers.
Zamir White, Raiders brought in some running back. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah. Okay, receivers. Who do you like here? I had Mechie queued up. I know Chicago doesn't throw a lot, but Chase Claypool is an athlete.
Yeah, I would prefer like Van Jefferson. If they end up getting rid of Allen Robinson, he could be the number 2. Robert Woods could end up being the 1 or 2 for Houston. The thing with Mechie is we just have no idea if or when he'll come back. Cedric Tillman's actually one of my favorite rookies. I can't believe he's going this late. He probably won't go until the late 2nd round, but George Pickens went in the late 2nd round, and look how that worked out.
Yeah. Any other ones you see just scrolling down? Just wanted to, with 5 picks away, I just wanted to take a look.
Yeah, nothing that jumps out. There's some guys that I think have a little value here or there, but nothing major.
All right, with 3 picks left, again, I'm good at tight end. I want to grab 1 more running back, 1 more receiver, and then if I like a backup quarterback in the last round, I'll do that. If not, I can grab something else. So I think Tillman, want to hear a little bit more about it after if I pick it, but I'll lean into you if you think this is if he should have been maybe snatched up earlier. If you like it here,
I'd go Gus Edwards first. Oh, either way.
Okay. 2 picks until me if Gus Edwards is there. If not,
yeah, this guy already has 7 running backs, so hopefully he's not taking another one here.
Oh, gotcha.
That's what.
Yeah, it's okay. You like Gus Edwards over McKinnon? I know we don't know where McKinnon's going to land. McKinnon was good to me last year, so I always loved Jerick McKinnon. All right, I am locked in with my 6 running backs, 7 receivers, 3 tight ends, 1 pick to go, 18 picks away. If there's a backup quarterback I like, if not, if something of value pops up, I'm fine with that because I'm very happy with my 3 quarterbacks. Okay, so let's just take a look. Are there any? What about Tyler Huntley? Geez, with he just went.
Well, the one that you could, for your handcuff perspective, is Sam Darnold. There's a lot of talk that Sam Darnold would be the true number 2 in San Francisco, and not
over Trey Lance.
And some of that would be Lance probably getting traded, but there are some.
What about? This is gross, but what about Colt McCoy? Isn't he gonna start the year?
I don't know if that's any sort of guarantee.
What about Dalton? Do you think he could start the year in drafting the rookie? We don't know which rookie, obviously.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I think you maybe get a couple starts, but the chance that he puts up a number is not.
So you really think that they'll try to move Lance, and then speculating that it would be Darnold as like essentially the handcuff?
That's what some rumors are out there. Given the money that they gave him, the way they've obviously backed Purdy, it sounds that Lance would be the odd guy out, and more like they want to recoup some value and realize that they still.
Do you like Terrence Marshall late?
Yeah, they obviously brought in multiple receivers. I think they still probably draft somebody, so he might end up being the 4th guy is what I would worry about. And it's a totally new regime. They have no ties to him, so it's one of those like, what's he going to give you?
Yeah.
Um,
Wait, where did Hooper went to Vegas? I'm learning free agency to soak into my brain as I do more and more drafts, that's why I love doing drafts, trying to do them often. What's his face? Darnold went. So,
okay.
that would have been a good. That I mean, you made some really good points. I'm just curious how far. Just want to see where he went. So yeah, he went. Wait, where
And the
was
same
mine?
guy
I
took
took it.
Colt McCoy.
Oh,
He just
okay.
loaded up on bad quarterbacks at the end. He must have.
Oh, good God! Did he not? Oh my God! I gotta look at that after the draft. Sorry,
Yeah,
this is fascinating. He
yeah,
took all backups. What the fuck?
yeah.
Sorry.
Kenny
Sorry.
Pickett and a bunch of backups.
Holy shit! That's a strategy.
Um,
Again, make your stance, folks. Do whatever you believe.
okay,
All
so
right. 3 picks away. If you
I
go
mean,
back to my Heineke love as a former Washington fan, he's gone. I don't. Besides Dalton, would be the only one, unless you just handcuff and say Hurts is a running quarterback. He could get hurt.
yeah.
If
I
he
mean,
gets injured,
honestly, anyone.
anybody could get hurt. I'm just
Uh,
saying he's in a good offense.
okay, you're up.
Okay,
Uh,
so it's one of those for me, it'd be Dalton or Mariota as a total backup, or I mean, it's all crap. So
I mean, I think Robert Woods.
I think Robert Woods is garbage, but
Sure, but he's going to probably get a lot of work from a rookie quarterback.
I don't like it. I think
I mean, what else is there?
I think I would have rather taken a backup quarterback. Actually, see, this is fun as you live draft, live draft with your brother on air. You're not going to agree on everything. You are not. All right, let's take a look at the team. Here it is. You full draft. Okay. Again, I've read it multiple times, but if you're joining in late or just fast forward to the end to see what happened, it is 3 quarterbacks, 6 running backs, 8 receivers, 3 tight ends. I probably disagree with Steve. Probably would have taken one of those backups and gone 4, 6, 7, 3. But again, it's good to do different draft styles. And again, that would have just been a pure handcuff. And again, Steve made a great point about Darnold too. Purdy, but that didn't work out. I was willing to take another backup, but I'm fine because I love my 3 quarterbacks. So quarterbacks: Mahomes, Cousins, Purdy, love it. Running backs, 6 of them: Barkley, Harris, Pacheco, Mitchell, Fournette, Edwards. I've got 3 solid starters. 3 guys, one in an excellent offense tied to my quarterback, and 1 free agent and 1 backup. So fine with that. Those 6 receivers: Olave, McLaurin, Tony, obviously a stack with Mahomes, rookie Jordan Addison, Lazard, Pierce, rookie Cedric Tillman, and Robert Woods. Barf, Steve. I don't know. I drafted 2 receivers from Houston. Don't you find that a little gross?
I mean, it's what it is. I mean, they could end up being 2 of the top 3 weapons this year.
Steve, Robert Woods, I just have to say one more time, he looked awful last year.
But he was also playing with beyond terrible offense and quarterback play. I mean, who looked good in Tennessee's passing offense last year? No one.
Well, I think Tannehill's better than a rookie, but okay, well, maybe he's better this year. But
I mean, they signed him. They clearly gave him.
They gave him
money. I mean,
okay.
Not a big deal, but they gave him money that they did not need to do.
Okay. Anyways, he's my 7th receiver. He's my 8th receiver. It's fine. So watch him help win the 100,000. I'll split it with you then, all Robert Woods. And then tight ends: Dalton Schultz is my guy. 2 rookies: Michael Mayer and Dalton Kincaid. Finish time. So you said, are there any specific fits that you find to be excellent for Mayer, Kincaid, or that you could project where they may go? Well, or I mean, I know that's hard to predict.
Yeah, I think you're looking, and honestly, for even though I do think Kincaid is going to be valued more highly by a team that likes to, want a more inline tight end running the ball, two-way tight end, something like that. Or I'm sorry, Mayer will be prioritized by those teams. Kincaid's much more the pass catcher. I think once you start with, honestly, the Packers and on down, you have Packers, Washington, potentially the Chargers, even though they still have Jared Everett. There's some talk that they could look to upgrade tight end. Cowboys, definitely. Schultz is gone. Bengals, they signed Irv Smith, but that, what does that do? Like,
Okay.
they could prioritize it. So I think you have a lot of really good offenses that could be looking tight end there late in the
Yeah, I mean,
first
that would be
round.
amazing to get one of those late first round high powered offenses that one of
Yeah,
these guys
I
then
mean,
fall into too.
even potentially the Lions, they traded away T.J. Hawkinson, so I'm not sure they'd
Mhm.
use a first rounder on tight end. But
Right.
they could just see the value just too good.
Right.
And
Right.
so,
Okay.
basically outside of like the Vikings and Chiefs, and maybe the Eagles, though, don't be surprised if they look two tight end. Also, they have two first rounders. They could get a little crazy, but most teams at the back end of the first round could absolutely look tight end. And I
Okay.
think you're pairing them with potentially a really good offense.
I mean, we could make this a 2-hour show because I could look at this draft board all day and analyze it. Something that is good is after you complete your draft, check out the draft board, see how things fall because you just kind of see trends and learn things and learn where different runs on positions or players are going or that kind of stuff. So when a draft is happening fast, how to react for your next one. I know I like doing that. I have to look before we go. I know we're well over an hour now. We got to jump off soon. But the one guy, no judgment, go with your own stands and you do what you think is best for your team. I wanted to walk away with two quarterbacks in the first 3 rounds. Where is the guy or the person that
Right there,
drafted which
right
one?
there, Blue Boss or whatever his name is. Pick 10.
Oh, okay. Okay. So, okay. You went, whoa, 4 receivers, Kenny Pickett in the 5th round. Kittle, Miles Sanders, Dallas Scott. Okay, I'm not going to read his whole team, but he literally got Kenny Pickett as his only starter, and then he loaded, and I mean loaded, quarterbacks at 14th round and 17th through 20th. So he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 backup quarterbacks with Kenny Pickett. I mean, it's fascinating. You're just playing basically whack-a-mole that you're hoping one of those guys ahead of those people get benched or
So
injured.
so what he is doing, and I think go to the top.
Yep.
So his take is I'm going to play a receiver in Superflex and I'm playing a receiver in the flex, and that
Mhm.
you can say works out. You got four really really good receivers.
Mhm.
The problem is, there are I mean, quarterback like Derek Carr is probably going to outscore Devontae Smith this year.
Mhm.
Geno Smith, all those types of quarterbacks are going to outscore those guys. And like I said, like Tyreek Hill was second in wide receiver points per game last year, and he didn't crack 18 points. 13 quarterbacks last year in a very down quarterback year
Down quarterback here, yeah.
cracked 18 average fantasy points. So
Yeah.
so that's my issue is
Mhm.
it, and then he still only got Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett is somebody you were looking at as your third quarterback, not even your
Mhm.
super flex option. So he's going to be giving up points at the quarterback position. He's giving up points at the super flex position. Even if you say he's got the best 1 and 2 receivers in the league, in Chase and Hill, he's losing a lot of points at QB and in super flex. And even if Wilson's his flex. And then here's the other thing is he didn't prioritize running back. Like I think if you were to do this and kind of punt, I don't think it's a good option. Don't get me wrong. I don't think it's a good option, but it would make more sense if you were doing it from a balanced approach. You got a couple stud running backs, a couple stud receivers, and you're like, I'm just going to dominate running back and receiver scoring, take
Mhm.
advantage of all these guys sliding and falling, and then try and pick up some multiple quarterbacks. But that's the thing. He didn't get
He
multiple
went
starters.
quantity over quality, and he's just hoping that some of those
Yeah.
guys fill into starter
Yeah.
roles
Like for
throughout
an
the year.
instance, the guy in fourth took Jefferson, Cup, Adams go down,
Mhm.
and then Kyler, Debo, Jimmy,
Jimmy
and Sam
and
Howell.
Sam
So he
Howell, so
still gets you
You
know,
still got three
three
quarterbacks in the top
quarterbacks. Yeah,
7.
Murray is potentially going to miss some time, but like that can maybe work
Mhm.
because he's still got multiple starting quarterbacks.
Right.
I
Right.
still would have probably wanted a running back over Debo in that kind of setup, but I think he's behind a little bit in terms of just expected quarterback production at the quarterback position and the super flex position, but there are ways that can work.
Yeah.
The one, when you're just relying on Kenny Pickett, that's going to be real tough.
Yeah. All right, we could look at that draft board and talk for 2 hours because it is fascinating. And again, I recommend looking at draft boards after you finish drafts. This was fun. Superflex is fun. Get on Underdog, do a Superflex draft. When this one fills, there's going to be another one. If you're new to Underdog, use code Fanspeak. Get that 100% deposit bonus up to $100. We've already been on an hour and 15 minutes. It's been a blast, so I'll let everybody go. But before I do, again, like and subscribe on your way out, and be sure to join us every single week for best ball shows, strategy shows, more live drafts. We're going to keep the live drafts cranking here. It's fun. You may see more debates, but it's fun. You learn that way, right, Steve?
Absolutely.
All right, guys. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us, and we will see you next time.